Welcome back. Now, more than 400 high-powered scientists and politicians are meeting at the G20 Science Ministerial meeting at the SKA site in Carnarvon in the Northern Cape. The SKA Mid, it's currently under construction, of course, eventually forms part of the SKA, which is being built between South Africa and Australia. And the multi-billion rand project will culminate in the largest, most sensitive radio telescope in the world upon completion. Joining us once again is Leanne Manners live there. Leanne, you've been braving the cold throughout the morning and, of course, showing us just how cold can get. But beyond that, there have been important work that obviously have been that is being done, and there are lots of activities as well. I'm going to hand it over to you. Perhaps you can tell us what's happening on your end at the start of the show.
All right, well, welcome back as we come to you from the Meerkat National Park. This, of course, is now a national park, and this is where these magnificent telescopes, the SKA, are situated. And today is a very special day as the science ministers from the G20 countries and more are expected to be visiting here. I would say from between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock we should have full arrival of the dignitaries, and they'll be able to come through and actually see what this is all about and the workings of the SKA, which of course is a major milestone when it comes to science, just science in general. I was about to say astronomy, but it's actually a lot more than that. But I want to talk to my guests now that are going to enlighten us into a little bit more of the work that they do, the things that have actually been discovered. And, you know, this is a growing investment. It is nowhere near, I suppose, at the potential that it can be, because there's so much more that's still to come when it comes to this SKA. But my guest to talk to us a little bit more, I've got Kitumetse Malumo, who is the SARAO head of engineering and technology, and then I've got Lindsay Magnus, who's the SKA Mid telescope director. It's a pleasure to have both of you, and thank you so much for, I suppose, having us here, because this is not a place that the public gets to come and see very often. I'm going to ask you as a first question. I mean, this is incredibly special and a special location. Perhaps you want to talk to us more about the location and how it works with everything, with the engineering and the technology that has been developed here.
Hi, Leanne, thanks. This is a very special location, and it's very rare. And locations such as these, which are remote, that look like they are in the middle of nowhere. As you can see, it's beautiful. There's nothing around us. These locations are becoming few and far between globally. Yeah. Right, so it's unique in South Africa as well. It's radio silent. There's no not much civilization around here, which makes it a perfect location for radio astronomy, where we're trying to pick up signals from the cosmic.
Yeah, and that's something as well that I'm not sure the public know. I mean, when we came here, this is radio silence. There is no signal whatsoever for anything, and no interference. Car radios most go off, computers, cell phones. There's absolutely no interference whatsoever, and that's why the fact that we're able to broadcast from here is quite a big feat, a difficult one, but we've managed to achieve it, which I'm very happy about. So when we talk about some of the findings and the things that you're looking for, because as a scientist, you guys understand it. As people like us who are trying to figure out what you're looking for, it might not be that simple. So perhaps in sort of the easiest form, tell us exactly what it is that you're looking for and you do.
Okay, so unlike optical telescopes, which basically see into space, what we look for are radio signals, and we try get the most sensitive radio signals. Now, if you picture any sort of spatial event, it creates a radio signal, and this gives us information on how the universe is forming, how the planets are forming and changing, and also basically how it began in the first place. Sure. The more sensitive our equipment can get, the further back in time we can see, because it takes light quite some time to get here. It takes these radio signals quite some time to actually get here to Earth. So by the time that they get here, a lot of them have degraded. So you need very sensitive equipment to hear this. And this is what we're trying to pick up.
Wow. Amazing. So, Lindsay, let me bring you into the conversation now, because you obviously are based. This is kind of where you're at as well for the SKA, and this is the Mid telescope. So there is a difference between the Mid telescope and then Australia have got
the low telescope.
The low telescope. So now explain this to me. How is it working?
So the mid and low are just technical descriptors for the receiver bands. So it's almost like thinking on your car radio, the different channels that you get are at different frequencies.
Okay.
So our two telescopes receive different frequencies. So it's almost like one telescope is designed to measure a certain kind of radio signal and the other one is picking another one. The interesting part is there are some astronomical phenomena, some things in space that'll generate the radio signals at both frequencies, but there are some that only generate it at the lower frequencies and some that'll generate it at the mid frequencies. And so that's why you need the two telescopes, one tuned to listen to the one set of radio frequencies and one generated.
And then they communicate with each other.
They do, yes. And so of course, both being in the southern hemisphere, they get to see the same patches of sky.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that the southern hemisphere is unique. I think you may have had the opportunity to see some of the stars last night and see the galaxy. We've got a very unique opportunity to look at our own galaxy in the southern hemisphere, something that the northern hemisphere's radio telescopes don't get the opportunity to do. So it's really unique.
That is absolutely fascinating. So at the moment, how many telescopes are here?
So at the moment, we're planning to build almost 200 of those big dishes that you would have seen in some of the images.
Okay.
So to build up those 200, part of it will be the existing Meerkat. And that was always part of Meerkat's legacy, as it would become the foundation for the Mid telescope.
Yeah.
To that, we will then keep on adding telescopes until we get to the 200. Right now, we've got 7 brand new telescopes being fabricated on site. 5 of them have gone through what we refer to as the big dish lift, which is where that big dish structure gets lifted up onto the pedestal. And then the rest are either on the ocean on their way here from China or still in the factory in China being fabricated.
And obviously the aim of something like today is for, firstly, investor countries to see the workings here, although no doubt they already do know this, but it's finding other potential investors. So how many countries invest in this?
So currently, the SKO, the global observatory, is funded by member countries, and currently we have 13 full member countries. So those are countries who have committed to investment. We have one more, France, who's in the final stages of membership, and so then we'll have 14 countries who will contribute to the roughly €2 billion cost of the project. What we want to do is showcase how countries can get involved, and so we're constantly looking for new countries. And what a day like today gives them the opportunity to do is to see what they're investing in, but also what kind of technologies their local industries could possibly contribute to the telescope. These kinds of telescopes are never built and then forgotten about. They're constantly being upgraded and improved as new technologies come online. And so this is an opportunity for countries who are possibly part of the G20 to see what kind of opportunities there are.
And finally, Ketamete, let me get the final word in for you, because when we talk about scientific development, we talk about engineering, we talk about technology, what's about to take place here today is massive for the country, because we obviously want to put ourselves at the forefront of the things that I have mentioned and much more. With something like this on our doorstep and part of our heritage, I speak to heritage as it is Heritage Day. What does a day like this mean? What do you think that we can showcase the world here today?
A lot. South Africa has invested quite significantly into building the right skills for us to actually even be able to build a world-class telescope such as Meerkat, which has then obviously allowed us to then participate in the SKA. Now, it's taken a lot from a skills development perspective in building technical skills, engineers, technicians, and scientists as well. We never get to really showcase what we are capable of from this perspective. A day like today allows people to actually see the instruments in real life, see how magnificent they look just by looking at them. They're quite impressive and big, but also to hear the stories about what we've managed to achieve as South Africans, starting from scratch where we had none of this expertise before, and yet we built something so magnificent.
Well,
and
I wish you both the best of luck for today. Continue doing the amazing work that you are doing, and I look forward to going on a bit of a tour a bit later after we finish the broadcast, just to go and see some of these satellites and also to get a better understanding. I mean, we were last here, I think it was in around 2018, so it really is a good 7 years that we can see the growth and how things have moved forward. Thank you again. Thanks so much for being with us. All right, let's go back to the studio. It's 8 o'clock. It's time for your news.